Expanding on this particular project that showed you how you can click a button that'll call a function, and the job of the function is basically to extract exactly what color style each of these H1 tags had. Well, the way I had it before, when you hit run function, you got an alert box, and then you'd have to click OK for the first alert to get to the second, click OK to get to the third, click OK to get to the fourth. Well, you can still do that, but I created it so that the answer would also show up, what basically would show up in the tag itself, and it would replace this text. So I would use the inner HTML to change these words to what the red, green, blue values of the color are. So I want to go over that real quick. Maybe I can run it first. You see how it automatically changes when I run the function. The color style for this H1 tag is RGB 00255. The color style for this H1 tag is RGB 25500. The color style for this H1 tag is RGB 01280, and the color style for this H1 tag is RGB 1280128. Now, if I hit refresh to go back to the beginning, I can put the alert box back on there and actually do both. This is what we had before. We just had alert current style, and this is what I added above the alert, and then I just commented out the alert. I said heading zapper.innerHTML equals, then I've got the text, the color style for this H1 tag is, plus current style. Now, the fact that we're using a for loop way up here means that it's going to iterate through each one of these, dig out the CSS color style, and then at the end of the looping, it will either do the alert over and over again, or it will do this, and when it does this, it does it so fast that you just see it all at once. So now I've uncommented out the alert, so the alert will show and this will show. So I'll show you how that runs. Run function. You see the alert box comes up first, and it shows us what the RGB value is for the blue, the first one, which is blue. Click OK. Now it goes to the second, which happens to be red, and the RGB for that is 255,00. OK. Now it's doing it for the third one, which is the green. The RGB for that is 01280. Click OK. And now it's hitting the purple. RGB 128.0128. Click OK. When you click OK, all of these are going to simultaneously hit. I thought that if I had this under the alert, I thought what would happen was not what would happen. I thought when I hit run function right after this alert box, when I click OK, I thought that the blue tag would change, the inner HTML would change before this next alert box showed. That's what I thought was going to happen. But no, it makes you look at all four alert boxes first, and then it goes straight to this. Now, heading zapper.innerHTML, we don't have to add this string, the color style for this H1 tag is. We could just put heading zapper.innerHTML equals current style. And if I do that, and I comment my alert box out again, this is going to be how it ran in the very beginning of this video. You have these H1 tags with this bit of text inside each one. When you click run, it just gives you the RGB values without that extra string of text concatenated to it. I think this is kind of nicer than having the alert pop up and then having to click OK to close out of the alert box. This is more like an inline function. Another way that I could have done it is to have maybe a span or paragraph underneath each one of these, and then when I click this, that information would go below it, so you would still have the tag that says this H1 tag has a style, and then either next to it or below it, this would show up. But I kind of thought just replacing the inner HTML was more concise, and unless you needed to see the original H1 text, if you don't need to see it, you just want to replace the value instantly, this was kind of okay. So I'm going to go over the page really quick, because I'm sure you don't have the last video on this memorized. So HTML head, this link could link an external style sheet. It currently isn't, but that's the way that you would link to an external style sheet. This could have styles, additional styles added to it, to these tags, and anything else that I add to this page. Currently doesn't have any, so this is more or less, these are more or less placeholders for possible future use. But the script is called function go, and var bongos equals document.getElements by tag name h1. So getElements by tag name is going to grab all the h1 tags on the page and put it in the variable bongos. Then we're going to start this for loop with for var I equals 0, as long as I is less than bongos.length I plus plus. So it's going to count how many h1s are in the page, and then the loop is going to say as long as 0 is less than 4, we're just going to keep looping. Next, var heading zapper equals document.getElement by ID heading plus I. Since this I is going to increment, it's going to start at 0, then it's going to be 1, then it's going to be 2, then it's going to be 3. Each time it loops through, it's going to grab the ID of each one and put it into this variable called heading zapper. So for the first iteration of this loop, heading zapper is going to be equal. It's going to have the ID of heading 0. So the value of heading zapper is going to be heading 0. So then it's going to use this if type of heading zapper.currentStyle is not equal to undefined, then var current style equals heading zapper.currentStyle.color. This is for one type of browser. I'm not sure if it's Internet Explorer or if it's for everything else. But this else if will work if this one doesn't. Depending on whatever user's browser is, if this doesn't work, this should. So the else if type of window.getComputedStyle does not equal undefined, then do this long thing. Var current style equals document.defaultView.getComputedStyle, and in parentheses heading zapper, comma null, dot get property value, color. Now, in the previous video, I mentioned that we created more than one thing for more than one style for our H1. We also created a font family. So while I'm running this video, I'm going to test it now. I should have tested it before I did the video to make sure that I was doing it right, but I'm going to test it now. So instead of asking for the property value of color, I'm not sure if it's going to work like this, but I'm going to try. I'm going to ask for the font family, and then that's concerning this else if condition. Current style, computed style, get property value, font family. I have to do the same thing for this other if condition for the other type of browser. So if this, then current style, heading zapper, current style, dot color. So let me put dot font. I don't think it's spelled the same, but I'm going to try it like that. Okay, let's see what happens. Refresh this, run function. And it worked just fine. Every single one of those was given Arial. Now if I changed and made every single one of them different, like they have different color, I could have Arial, and I could have cursive, and sans serif. I just can't think of anything right now. I can't think of anything. Maybe Arial narrow. If I'm not mistaken though, when you have font families that have more than one word, I think you have to enclose them in some type of quotation. And if the outer is, since style is enclosed in double quotes, this has to be enclosed in single quotes because you have to alternate your double quotes and single quotes so that the code is read that this is what's quoted and doesn't get confused and think this is what's quoted. Because if this was also double quotes, it might read it that this is supposed to be what your focus is, and that's not the case. So let me see if I'm hoping I'm doing this right. I'll find out in a second. Okay, let's run this. I refresh it and run function, and it actually did work. Arial, cursive, sans serif, and Arial narrow. Now if I wanted both, let's see how I would ask for both. Heading zapper, current style, wait. Current style. How do I do this if I want to add both? Maybe, can I concatenate it? Heading zapper plus current style plus font family. I don't know if I can concatenate it with a plus. This will be different. Plus color. Somehow I don't think that's gonna work. I think I just broke it. But I'm gonna do the same thing to this. Current style equals all this junk. Yeah, I just really know this is so not gonna work. Oh, actually it did work. The concatenation symbol, it did work, but I needed to give it a space in between the two. So I guess I would have, here's the plus, here's the, let's see, if this, then current style equals this, plus, and right after that plus I think I should put a space in between double quotes and another plus. Okay, so it's current style equals heading zapper dot current style dot font family plus a space plus heading zapper dot current style dot color. So I want to copy and paste this plus space plus and stick it right here where just the single plus is. So now we're going to concatenate both of those pieces with a space in the double quote string. Let's try it again. And to make it even more, instead of a space, I can put the word and, space, and space. Go back here, space, and space. Arial and RGB 00255 cursive and RGB 25500 sans serif and RGB 01280 Arial narrow and RGB 1280 128. Alright, that's all. I just wanted to add a little something different to that old code.